Hello, thanks for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. And today we're looking at finding the solution of a system of equations via elimination. We want to use elimination. Okay, so we've talked about substitution, but in this video we're talking about elimination. So in order to do a system of equations by elimination, there's a couple things you need to know. One, you usually want to have it so that you're in ax plus by equals c format or standard form. Notice how we have a coefficient in front of the x, coefficient in front of y equal to a number. Coefficient in front of x, coefficient in front of y equal to a number. Right? If you have two equations like that, the system of equations is probably a good fit for finding the solution. The second thing you need to know is that the main objective in order to do system of equations is to have either the x variable or the x term or the y variable or the y term I should say cancel out. In order for that to happen, you need it to be the same number but opposite signs. Same number but opposite signs. So here in this first one here we got negative 8x, negative 8x. It's the same number, just has the same sign. We're going to multiply it by -1 so we can change the sign. But whatever we do to one term, we have to do to the other terms to make it stay a true equation. So let's take a look. So I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by -1. I could multiply the top one, I just happen to pick the bottom one. Alright, so I'm going to rewrite the first equation just like it is. And now I'm going to distribute this -1 to each term in the second equation. So first, I'm going to do -1 times -8x. Negative times a negative is a positive. And 1 times 8 is 8. So I get 8x. Now I'm going to do -1 times -4y. Negative times a negative is a positive. And then 1 times 4 would be 4y. Alright, and then negative times a positive is a negative. -1 times positive 44. That gives me a negative, and then 1 times 44 is 44. So now I have what I need. The same equation, the same number, opposite signs over here on the x term. And it's going to cancel out. So what I'm going to do is add vertically. And when I do, I got the 6y plus 4y is 10y, and then 34 minus 44 is -10. Different signs, find the difference. 44 minus 34 is 10. The 44 is the bigger absolute value. Put negative. Now I'm going to continue to solve this. I'm going to isolate this y by dividing by 10. And then y is going to be equal to a negative divided by a positive, which is a negative, and a 10 divided by 10 is 1. So now I'm going to take that -1 and plug it in. I could plug it in either one of these equations, but I just happen to pick the bottom one. So now I've got -x minus 4. Let me do this so pencil show. -x minus 4 times y, which is -1, is equal to 44. Alright, so I have a negative times a negative. That's going to be a positive. And 4 times 1 is 4. So now I have -8x plus 4 is equal to 44. Trying to isolate x here, I am going to subtract 4 on both sides. And that's going to give me 40. I'm going to bring down this -8x. This will cancel out. Now I'm just going to do the opposite of this multiplication and divide by -8. And then x is equal to positives divided by negative is a negative. And then 40 divided by 8 is 5. So my point is -1, -5. Alright, let's take a look at another. Okay, here, same thing as before. I want to get the same number but opposite signs. But you can tell I already got the same number here at 7 and 7. Now, if you happen to have the same number but opposite signs already, you don't have to multiply. You just go ahead and you can go ahead and combine the terms right away. But here I don't. I've got 7y and 7y, both positive. I need to make one of them negative. And again, I chose the bottom equation here to do that. So I'm going to rewrite the first equation. Negative 5x plus 7y is equal to 40. And I'm going to distribute this negative 1 to each term. Alright, so I'm going to distribute. So first I'm going to do negative 1 times positive 10. Negative times a positive is a negative. And then 1 times 10 is 10x. Next I'm going to do a negative 1 times 7y. Negative times a positive is a negative. And 1 times 7 is 7. And then again, negative 1 times 25, negative times a positive is a negative, and then 1 times 25 is 25. Now I have the same term or the same number but opposite signs, so I can combine my terms. When I do, the 7 or the y term goes away, cancels out, or eliminates, and then I got negative 5 and negative 10, same sign, find the sum. 5 plus 10 is 15. Okay, keep it negative. Here we got different signs. Find the difference. Subtract. 40 minus 25 is 15. The 40 is the bigger number. Go with a positive. Alright, now I'm going to isolate this x by dividing by negative 15 on both sides. And that's going to give me x is equal to negative 1. Now I'm going to plug it in here for x. Replace the x with negative 1 here. And that's going to give me 10 times x, which is now negative 1, plus 7y is equal to 25. Okay, positive times a negative is a negative, and 10 times 1 is 10. So I got negative 10 plus 7y is equal to 25. Now I'm just continuing to isolate this variable here. I'm trying to get this y by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite of minus 10 and add 10 on both sides. Alright, the 10s are going to cancel out. That's going to leave us 7y. Alright, and then same sign, find the sum. We're going to add those together. And we get 7y is equal to 35. Alright, we'll do the opposite of multiplication and divide. Divide by 7. And y is equal to 5. Alright, and this is one of the most important parts here. Don't forget to put your x term first. So that's going to leave you with negative 1, 5. Alright, let's take a look at the final example. Okay, here I don't have any of the numbers the same. So sometimes that happens. So what you'll need to do is be able to use multiplication to change one of the numbers to get that same number opposite signs. Okay? So in the x term, I got opposite signs but not the same number. And in the y term, I got opposite signs, not the same number. I could essentially do either one of those. As a matter of fact, I started out just to show you that both of those could be done, I made two problems and did them differently to start out. Okay, so you don't have to write this down, but if I was to multiply this by 4, that'll give me that negative 4x I need, and then I can cancel out the x term. But if I was going to multiply the top by 2, that'll give me a negative 6y, and I can cancel out the y term. So these two terms can cancel out depending on what you multiply by. And you can pick either one you want, and you should still get the same answer. Okay, and after doing this, I saw how big this number was and decided, let's just go with this one right here. So I'm going to multiply by 2 here. And I'm going to work it out step by step here. So make sure you write this down. I've got 2 times the top equation, so I can get negative 6y, so I can eliminate. So positive times a positive is a positive, and then 2 times 4 is 8. And then positive times a negative is a negative, and then 2 times 3 is 6y. And then positive times a negative is a negative, and then 2 times 13 is 26. And that's going to leave me with negative x plus 6y is equal to negative 44. Now I'm going to add vertically, like so. Different signs, find the difference. 8 minus 1 is 7x. And same sign, find the sum. 26 plus 44 is 70. Now I'm going to divide by x to get the x by itself here. Or sorry, divide by 7 to get the x by itself. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 70 divided by 7 is 10. I'm going to take that 10 and plug it right on in here for x. So keep in mind there's also an understood 1 in front of that. I didn't put the 1, but you want to make sure that you put both negatives. So you got the negative that's from the front of the x, and you got the negative from the 10, so there's 2 negatives. And it's like an understood 1. We're going to multiply it. Negative times a negative is a positive, and 1 times 10 is 10. So now I have positive 10 plus 6y is equal to negative 44. Everything else I just wrote and brought down here. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and try to get this y by itself. I need to know what y is. So I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. I'm going to bring down this 6y. Combine these two right here. Same sign. Find the sum. 44 plus 10 is 54. Keep it negative. Now I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. I'm going to divide by 6. And then positive divided by a negative is a negative. 54 divided by 6 is 9. Alright, now I've got negative 10 for x and negative 9 for y, and I got my point. Alright, now be aware that sometimes you may have one where you can't just simply either multiply this 1 times 4 or multiply this 3 by 2 to get 6. You have to multiply both equations. Okay? But here, for what we got going on today, finding the system of equations using elimination, that's it. I want to thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. Have a nice day.